Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be talking about the latest foundations that I purchased and that I tried, and I'm going to give you short reviews. Some of them were disappointments, some of them were really good, so let's go ahead and get started. If you're new here and you love luxury beauty, be sure to hit that subscribe button right now. I would love to have you as part of our amazing beauty community. If you're returning, welcome back, dear friends. Please do let me know in the comment section below if you've tried any of these foundations that I'm going to be mentioning today, because your feedback is very important. Now, keep in mind that not all foundations work for everyone. I am 35 years old and I have normal to combination skin. Right now in the winter, I would say it's more normal. I don't experience any oiliness, or I don't have any particular issues on my skin. My skin is quite sensitive though. However, with foundations, I find that my perfect foundation might be your worst nightmare and vice versa. So we are not all the same. I'm going to tell you about each foundation, what I loved about it, what I didn't like about it. So let's go ahead and get started. And once again, be sure to leave me a comment if you've tried any of those foundations. It's going to be useful for our whole community, but don't forget to let us know also what skin type you have, because the performance of foundations very often is connected to your skin type. The four foundations that I recently purchased and that I recently tried are the Numero 1 by Chanel, and I have a full review of this foundation. Then I tried the Dior Forever Matte foundation, which I returned. I'm going to explain in a minute. Then I have the Cle de Peau foundation. This is the iconic Radiant Fluid Matte Foundation with SPF 20. And then the last foundation that I have is the Dolce Gabbana Millennial Skin, and this is the Tinted Moisturizer. I'm going to start with the two favorite foundations, and this is the Cle de Peau Radiant Matte Foundation and the Numero 1 de Chanel foundation. Now, these two foundations are excellent. I would actually rate them 10 out of 10. They are very different. I cannot say which one I prefer. This one is a matte foundation and it's exactly a radiant matte foundation. So I purchased the Cle de Peau foundation during the Black Friday sales, and I've had the chance to use this foundation for the past couple of months. 2 months. I have been using it. I have been using it quite often, and I have to say that I'm very, very impressed with the quality of this foundation. Now, over the years, a lot of you have been recommending this foundation and I always had it on my wish list, but the price somehow was making me not want to purchase it. But finally, I decided to go for it during the Black Friday sales, and I'm so happy that I did. I think that this is the most beautiful, currently, this is the most beautiful matte foundation that I have in my collection. It's very light, it doesn't emphasize pores, and I feel like when I apply it on my skin, it just looks better as the day goes. It's one of those foundations that once I apply it, it looks really nice, but then 1 hour later it somehow sets into my skin and looks even better, and then in 2, 3, 4 hours it keeps looking better and better. This is not a flat matte foundation. It's exactly, I would describe the finish as luminous matte. I think that you're mostly going to appreciate this foundation if you have normal to combination skin, or if you have oily skin and you don't want a flat matte foundation. You still want foundation that is going to look like skin. It doesn't emphasize fine lines, it doesn't emphasize pores, it wears beautifully throughout the day, it doesn't oxidize on my skin. The shade that I wear in this foundation is 010, which is light ochre, and it matches my skin tone perfectly. I'm so happy with my purchase. It is a very pricey foundation. This one is 35 ml, so a little more than a standard foundation, and it's 1 fluid ounce. It is pricey, but I think it's worth the splurge. I find that I reach for this foundation very often, and I know that for sure this is going to be my #1 foundation in the summer because I have combination skin. And I live in a place where it's quite hot and humid in the summer, and I know that this is going to be my go-to favorite foundation. So I think that you can use this foundation even if you have dry skin and you want to wear a matte foundation. I think that this one is going to be the best choice because it's still not a flat matte finish. And I know from a lot of you, I know that this foundation works beautifully also on dry skin. So about this foundation, I can say it's oldie but goodie. Definitely one of the very, very best foundations that I've ever tried and that I have ever had in my collection. It beats all of my matte foundations that I have. Definitely, it's the best matte foundation that I have currently in my collection. So way to go, Cle de Peau. Beautiful foundation. Next, moving on to the newly released Chanel Numero 1 foundation, and this one is absolutely stunning. I think that those of you who have dry skin are really going to appreciate this foundation. As a person who has combination skin, I adore this foundation because it doesn't make my skin oily. It gives me this gorgeous glow. I'm wearing this foundation today, by the way, and you can see how shiny, glowy my skin is. I always set this foundation with some loose powder because I have combination skin, but if you have dry skin, I think that you're going to enjoy this foundation even if you don't use powder, because it just gives the most flawless, beautiful finish. It has a light coverage, light medium coverage. It has a decent amount of coverage. You can definitely build up the coverage with this foundation, and I think that mostly this foundation is a must try for people who have dry skin, dehydrated skin. I think you're going to enjoy this foundation a lot. Even I love this foundation. Now I know that probably in the summer months I'm not going to be wearing this foundation a lot just because it's way too glowy, and in the summer my skin gets quite oily because I have combination skin. So I'm mostly going to reach for this one by Cle de Peau. But right now in the winter months, I have been enjoying this foundation and I have been wearing it every single day since it arrived. I just reach for this foundation. I love it so much. It is truly flawless. The way it just sets into the skin without emphasizing pores, without emphasizing fine lines. I think that if you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I think you should definitely give this foundation a go. You should definitely try this foundation. It has some anti-aging ingredients. It has the red camellia extract, which is signature for the Numero and the Chanel skincare line. I think you should give this foundation a go. I think it's beautiful. I couldn't say enough good words about this foundation. But the only people that I think are not going to enjoy this foundation are those who have oily skin. If you have oily skin, I think this one might be way too glowy, way too illuminating for you. But if you have normal to combination skin for the winter time, I think it's an excellent foundation. I have a full review of this foundation along with close-ups. I have a first impression review. I have been using this foundation for, I think it's nearly a month now since I've had this foundation, and I'm so impressed and I absolutely love it. Next, moving on to the new Dior Forever Matte foundation. Now, I was very excited to try this foundation. However, I first watched Michelle Wong's review on the Dior Forever Glow foundation. She didn't like it. She was not very impressed with it. So that's why I thought, okay, I'm going to buy the foundation, but then I'm going to also ask for a little sample pot, just so that I can try it before opening the foundation, because I'm based in Europe, and in Europe you cannot return products that are opened. So you can only return a product if it is unopened. So I made sure to purchase this foundation from a retailer that has a return policy, and I decided that I'm first going to try this foundation from a sample. I'm so happy that I did so because I didn't like this foundation. So this was a huge disappointment for me personally. It might work for you. I've seen some good reviews of this foundation. I've seen some positive reviews. Keep in mind that I'm very demanding when it comes to my complexion products. Complexion for me is everything. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it looked on my skin. It was not absolutely flawless. Yes, it was a matte foundation. It's a light foundation. I wore this foundation in the shade 1N, 1 in neutral, which is usually the shade of Dior foundations that I'm going to wear. It matched my skin tone perfectly, really nice. But then a couple of hours later it started to oxidize, and it did oxidize to the point where I felt uncomfortable. I don't like when foundations tend to oxidize on me. I usually have my face is a little bit darker than my neck and décolletage, and that's why I always try to match my face and my neck and décolletage. But then I really didn't enjoy the way this foundation oxidized on my skin, and also I didn't like the way it wears throughout the day. It started to emphasize a little bit. It started to somehow, emphasize some little imperfections that I had on my skin. So I had a couple of breakouts here. It tended to emphasize them. It started to catch on those breakouts. It started to emphasize them as the day goes. And also here, around here, it just didn't wear nicely. It was looking dry and a little bit patchy. And I tested the foundation for 2 days. I tested it with powder and without powder, and just the result was the same. I just didn't want to open the foundation. I wanted to return it immediately because I wanted to have my money back. I didn't want to keep this foundation and just not use it. I knew that I was not going to use this foundation. I just didn't like it. And I don't know, I really like the whole concept of the Dior foundation. I really loved the ad of the foundation. I really liked the whole marketing campaign and the skincare ingredients and the natural origin ingredients, but I just didn't love the foundation. So that's why I returned it. It was my fail, the biggest fail of my recent purchases. But do let me know in the comment section below if you've tried the new Dior Forever foundations and if you liked them. I didn't try the Glow foundation because they didn't have, they wouldn't give me a sample. I couldn't get a sample, and still I don't want to risk it because I don't know, I just didn't want to risk it to buy a product, to buy a foundation that is just going to sit in a drawer of unused products. I'm trying to be a little bit more responsible. So that's why I didn't try the Glow foundation. But the matte foundation, it was a fail for me. Do let me know in the comment section below if you've tried this foundation and if you had a different experience, if you liked it. Do let us know, and do let us know also what's your skin type. And then the last foundation that I tried recently and tested is the Dolce Gabbana Millennial Skin Tinted Moisturizer. I think that this is the favorite tinted moisturizer of so many people. I have seen amazing, and I've read actually amazing reviews online of this foundation. They say it's the best foundation, one of the best tinted moisturizers of all times. I didn't like it a lot, so I'm on the fence about this product. This product is very generous, so it's a 50 ml, 1.6 fluid ounce. The price is very good considering the amount of product that you get. It comes in this lovely black tube that is, I would say, let's see if the camera can focus. Okay, so this foundation is very travel friendly because it comes in this tube, and inside there is a pump, which is great. I really enjoy this. It has a light coverage. It is a tinted moisturizer, and usually I'm a person who loves light coverage and tinted moisturizers, and I was almost sure that I was going to love this foundation. I have it in the shade 110 Pearl. This was the shade that was available in my local retailer, and I'm going to show you a swatch. I'm going to show you how it looks. I didn't love it. I can possibly wear it. It was not like the biggest disappointment. It's not a huge disappointment. It looks like skin, but it just doesn't do anything special for my skin. I make it work, but it's just nothing special for me. It's not a tinted moisturizer that I will ever repurchase, and I know that this tube is actually going to stay unused because I didn't like it. For some reason it didn't work for my skin as flawlessly as it works for other people. I saw all 5-star reviews of this product, of this foundation, and I was so excited. I loved a lipstick that I purchased from Dolce & Gabbana. I loved also an eyeshadow palette that I purchased, but this foundation somehow, I don't like it. It's not flawless. It is just not what I expect from a tinted moisturizer. I always have the highest expectations. It's not that it emphasizes pores that much, but it just doesn't wear beautifully throughout the day. It doesn't give me the wow effect that I expect from a complexion product. And once again, probably it's my problem because I'm very demanding when it comes to my complexion products. I love when my complexion is absolutely flawless. This is I like when my makeup is quite simple. I don't pay that much attention to my eye makeup, but then the complexion, it really has to be flawless because somehow I believe that complexion is the most important thing for me. I am going to try and use it from time to time, rarely, but I know that this tube is most probably going to stay unused. It just was not, it was not what I expected from this product. I'm going to actually have a link to a video where I apply this foundation in case you want to see a close-up of my skin, how it looks after applying this foundation. Because I have filmed a video where I use this tinted moisturizer, and I'm going to link it in the description box below, because you're going to be able to see close-ups of my skin, how it looks when I wear this one. And I just couldn't like it, and I've had it for the past 2 months. Even more than 2 months, I think. I even had it for more than 2 months, probably nearly 3 months I've had this foundation. I'm not really sure for how long, but it was a long time that I just don't want to use it, and I don't feel like I'm ever going to be using this foundation. I just don't want to reach for this foundation. It's not one of those kind of products, tinted moisturizers or complexion products that I want to use. So that was all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for spending time with me. I truly appreciate your time when you choose to watch my videos. Do let me know in the comment section below if you've tried any of those foundations. Let me know what you think of them, how they work for you. I hope to see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.